a lot to unpack here, Brett. What's your take on these Coinbase numbers?
Yeah, definitely a lot to unpack here in the shareholder letter. You know, Coinbase as a business really developed as a retail-focused business. You know, they have now 70 million users. They have around 7 million monthly active users. And as we know, retail really loves to trade crypto right now when it's moving a lot, especially when it's moving up a lot. So, for example, we've seen crypto volumes really pick up on exchanges across the U.S. In the last several weeks as cryptos have reached all-time high. But earlier on in the mid of the quarter, we were seeing, in general, lower trading volumes, lower volatility, and that seems to have a huge effect on the amount that retail wants to actually transact. And so we're seeing a lot of mentions in the Coinbase letter about how much their business is really correlated with the volatility of the crypto market.
So Coinbase is talking in the shareholder letter about how the company is a long-term investment, doesn't want investors to pay attention quarter to quarter. But one of the things that analysts really cottoned onto in the quarter was how use of the app spiked after listing of Shiba Inu coin, of course. They want to move into NFTs, non-fungible tokens as well. What is the future for the platform overall?
Yeah, one thing that really stuck out to me in the letter was the fact that Bitcoin trading on the exchange, and in general, Bitcoin dominance in the crypto market cap as a whole, keeps going down. And the amount of users that are using more advanced features of exchanges on ours, on Coinbase, are going up. So you see people trading alternative coins, Ethereum, Solana, these different coins. Certainly on our exchange, Ethereum and Solana have been steadily growing in volume. And people are using things like their earn product, their staking product, and now they're getting into NFTs. And so they are, just like FTX, getting into the NFT space. They're looking to make longer-term investments in the Web3 ecosystem and provide more of a diverse experience than just simple buying and selling of Bitcoin.
Well, on that point, come and me into my Bloomberg terminal really quick and look at this chart. Bitcoin had an astonishing rebound since July, but it's lagged the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index, which of course includes other coins, including Ether. I'll hold you to a yes or no answer. Is this a maturing cryptocurrency market, or is this still nascent to the mind of retail investors, institutional investors?
I think it's still nascent. A lot of the largest institutions in the US especially have yet to be able to tap the full potential of crypto because of various compliance issues, regulatory issues that are preventing a lot of these major institutions from getting into cryptocurrencies. We're just starting to tiptoe into institutional adoption by the first Bitcoin futures ETF being released, but that's just the beginning. And until we see more better regulatory clarity that allows for these different institutions to get into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, only then are we going to really start to see more of a maturing off of this market.
For full disclosure, my husband works over as a senior manager at Coinbase, so I won't delve too much into the intricacies of that business, Brett, but I will ask you about that regulatory question. And of course, I'm sure you're talking to regulators yourself. How swiftly are we going to see, well, a less nascent regulatory framework here in the United States?
Yeah, it's a great question. Talking to regulators and thinking about the regulatory landscape right now is a major part of what we are doing at FTX, because we truly believe that the long-term viability of this industry rests on the ability for exchanges like ours, licensed gatekeepers in this ecosystem, to be able to interact cooperatively and collaboratively with regulators, the SEC, the CFTC, with lawmakers. And it's very clear that this is top of mind for these agencies, that we want to get to a place where there's a good federal regime that is regulating cryptocurrencies and other kinds of crypto assets. All of the discussion around the infrastructure bill passing was really the beginning of all that. And we think that this is imminent for some sorts of decisions, or at least the beginnings of bills to start coming out that really try to shape what the future of this is supposed to look like in a way that makes people feel that this is no longer a fringe industry. This is a properly regulated trading industry that everyone should have some way of taking part in a safe and regulated manner.
And in a way, what is evident that NFTs are no longer so fringe is the fact that Christie's, the aged auction house, is once again auctioning off NFTs tomorrow. That of Beeple's. Beeple made the $69 million splash at the beginning of this year. How do you think that such an auction as tonight's will help affect NFTs?
Yeah, look, NFTs are growing in their adoption. it helps that now exchanges, actually centralized exchanges, not just DeFi exchanges like FTX, like Coinbase, are jumping into the NFT space. NFTs have a lot of appeal for people outside of crypto because they make crypto relatable. I mean, thinking about things like layer one blockchains and staking and wallets and addresses can be something that's hard to get people's minds around. But the idea of a collectible, a piece of art where you can trace the origin of the art to a particular creator or minter, that has a lot of appeal and analogy to other kinds of collectibles and communities in the world, other kinds of art communities. I think that NFTs is something that's really going to help the world get more into crypto, not less. And I think that seeing these auction houses really equate NFTs with other forms of art is only going to help that general adoption of NFTs.